Well, hello folks. Sorry I got to bend down here, but I want to show you my our new products right here. These are our jabos, and today we're going to do jabo patterns, and today we're going to learn how to take these apart and put them on your fabric, cut them out, sew them, press them, and pleat them. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us. And one of the reasons why I decided to make these patterns for you and to sell them, they'll be on, you can purchase them on eBay. Just probably do a search for swag patterns or jabo patterns and you'll find it. But I want to point out a few things about these. And one of the reasons, listening to people on eBay, the emails that I've received, some of the pleating is a little tricky, and I've taken that trickiness out of it. And part of it is because you're making a left and right. And as you can see, where these folds are all going to your right, and on these folds are going to the left. And when you get the patterns, the paper patterns, they don't really indicate that. And I've heard so many people just say they've just thrown those stupid paper patterns out. All our patterns are going to be out of fabric. They're going to come to you just the way you see them, all pleated and pressed. And the reason why I'm sending you a pair is because I want you to see the pleating. So when you receive these, what you want to do is you're going to put one to the side for now, at least I am, and I'm going to remove the staples out of it, and there's pleating notches there. And like I explained before you start making these, I want you to practice pleating on this pattern, and that at least gets you to understand how the pleating is done. And also there's notches up here, you probably can't see them, but I want you to also look at the relationship of the notches. You're going to take it apart like this, and that's what it's going to look like. And like I explained in my other video, it's very easy to repleat because you can follow these fold lines like that. Now, you're going to cut your material. When you cut your material, of course, you're going to need a left and a right. So you're going to make two cuts. And I want you to make your cuts 2 inches longer than the pattern that you purchased from me. So if you purchase a 36-inch pattern, I want you to cut it at 38 inches. Now, all the sewing allowance already added onto this, but I want you to overcut it just a little bit more so you have something to trim off. Next, you're going to cut your material. And for this, I just cut one. And you may find the video on figuring repeats. This would have a repeat. And now you're going to go ahead and take your pattern and place it on. And I'm going to put it so you can see it here. Now when you do this, it's going to be marked. You can see where it's going to say return on here. And that's going to indicate that that is the face of the jabo. And I'm also going to write, they're also going to say something to indicate that it's the face of it. Now, this is making just your left jabo. I've placed my fabric on, or placed my pattern onto my fabric. And you also want to make sure if you've got birds or something that you're putting it on like this, because this is the top. You don't want to turn it around so your birds are flying upside down. And next you're going to take your pins, and you're going to stick a few pins in there. And you can see I've got this over just a little ½ inch. Now, you have a chance at this point. You can either center a bird if you want to. You can bring it all the way over to the left, all the way over to the right. However you want to do it, that's going to be up to you. Also, I want to point out this. This is where your return is. There's a notch, and it'll say return. This is made for a 4-inch board, which is actually a 3.5-inch board. So I went ahead, and this is from here to here is 4 inches. That'll fit a 4-inch board, because a 4-inch board really is only 3.5. Now, if you need this return larger, the return is the part wrapping around the board right here, and that covers your board. If you have draperies underneath it, or you need a wider Then you're just going to simply move this over to the width that you need. And you see there's a notch right here. You can expand it to a 5-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch, 8-inch, but also you can reduce it. If you needed this smaller, you can go ahead and bring it in. Now, if you get confused with that, you can always email me and I'll try to clarify that a little bit more for you. But for now, we're just going to take this pattern and we're just going to stick some pins in it. Now you can also well, I'm not going to go. You can also save yourself time. I will tell you this: that you can also, if you wanted to, is cut your other one, and this is more for advanced sewers. Put both layers on here, but have them face to face. And by the time you open it, you'll have a left and a right. But if you're not an advanced sewer, I want you to stick to exactly how I am doing this. You're going to do your left, and then you're going to do your right, and this way you're not getting confused. And right now we're making your left jabot. Now you're going to cut this out. Oops. And you can see at the bottom here, I got a little extra here, and that's why I wanted you to cut a little off, just so you have something to cut off. I mean, you can cut it just to the length of the jabot. I like to give it a little extra to make sure everything is square. Now you're going to remove your pins. And with this, you also want to cut your lining. Now your lining can be a self-lining, meaning the same fabric, or it can be a contrasting liner. And in this case, I cut a contrast liner. Oh. So we're going to move this over. And here's your liner. And now this is the face of my liner. The other side has a little dull appearance to it. This is the shinier. So you want to take your shiny side, face it up towards you, and then you want to take your jabot, face it down, face down onto it. Just like that. And again, you're going to stick some pins in it. I've got it even with my top. Now, there's no rhyme or reason how many pins you want to stick in this. If you're an advanced sewer, you don't have to stick in that many, but you want to have enough that it holds it all together. Now we're going to cut off the excess. It's not needed. And now it's time to sew our jabo. Okay, so we're ready to begin sewing. I'm going to give you a quick tip. If you're just starting to learn how to sew, or not that good at it, you can get yourself a magnet like this, and from the needle over, we're using a 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So what you could do is figure out your 1/2 inch sewing allowance and put your magnet right to the edge and then follow the magnet. It may make it a little easier than just following the numbers on the sewing machine. So that's just a quick tip. But you're always going to start sewing your swag from the top. And you're going to go top down, obviously, on this. And we're going to sew all the way around it. Half-inch sewing allowance. Now with your material, so I'm using both hands as I'm sewing. I'm letting the feed dog do the work, but I also am stretching the material just a little bit so it doesn't feed in. And then when you get to your corner, you want to stop at a 1/2 inch away. Put your needle into the machine, lift up, move it over, sew until a 1/2 inch to the angle, lift back up, turn it so you're keeping the same 1/2 inch up the angle. When you get to the next angle, get it to a 1/2 inch, keep your needle down, lift up, rotate it, and sew down. Get to the end, you can do a little back tack. And there you have it. Now we're going to go and we're going to show you how to turn it and press it. Be right back.